Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto, where we take the market one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind. And the market cycle right now is what's really showing up in the Bitcoin chart. It's reminding you who's boss, and we're seeing a nice rollover here. Some people may think this is just a possible reversion to the mean, but I think it's really showing you how bearish this market actually is. So after a couple of weeks of somewhat bullish action, what you're seeing is Bitcoin the other day, about a week ago, broke the 6,800 level, popped into highs, and is now subsequently coming back and retesting those highs. The volume looks a little bit muted, but I'll be honest with you, this round over action at the top here is not indicative of accumulation behavior. This is actually indicative of selling, and that's exactly what we've seen lately is selling. On the run up here, we did have some nice volume. It came in, but it was still pretty light historically. If you look back, you can see all the green we had when we broke up here from the 6,400 all the way up to the 8,500 level. Quite a bit of green there. And the green over here, so far, very muted. Not a lot of buying involved. In fact, a lot of this was short covering. And if you take a look at the longs versus shorts with everyone and their mothers looking at these days, you can see that the shorts have actually come down substantially from where they were and are now in line with the longs. So what does that mean for the market? Well, it takes a little bit of the impetus out for a short squeeze. And if a short squeeze basically means an abrupt move higher, which is what this was, this was, this was, this was probably organic buying, but you get the picture here. A majority of these bounces all throughout here have been short squeezes and probably not organic buying, therefore much less likely that we continue into new highs. A lot of people have been very bullish recently. I saw a video where this guy said, oh, we're back in a bull market. These are the reasons why, blah, blah, blah. And they're pretty much all wrong. I mean, all the reasons were wrong. I don't quite understand why people are so super bullish on this market. People do make fun of people that want confirmation. Well, guess what? I'm one of those people, and so far it's worked out so well for me. So I'm sticking with what has worked versus just conjecture and opinions. And right now, those opinions aren't getting too many people, too many places. Let's back out to the daily chart here on Bitcoin, kind of see what's going on. So I'll get rid of this longs and shorts. Actually, you know what? Let's look at it one more time while we're on the daily chart. So you can see here the longs and shorts. Right now, we have come back down into confluence with one another. And during those times of confluence is kind of where Bitcoin goes sideways. We really don't have a lot of market action in these sideways moments here. And then, so here, obviously, shorts were very high, and also the longs were very high. And you saw the short squeeze right there, which we're already subsequently down in shorts quite significantly. So I don't think you can view this and this in quite the same light. As a matter of fact, shorts are undercutting. So without the shorts there and without the bulls increasing, you don't have much of an impetus for Bitcoin to go higher. As a matter of fact, the lack of volume as it dries up here pretty much implies lower price action. And so what does that mean for the longer term? Well, just finished up the power hour a little bit earlier, and what I was talking about is in the markets, you generally have many different baskets of buyers and sellers, and all those different baskets of buyers and sellers have different opinions. Hold on, I'm trying to draw that trend line. There you go. So all those different baskets of buyers and sellers have different opinions, and what we see now is very similar behavior in Bitcoin going all the way back down to the top of 20,000. A series of lower highs, a series of bounces, subsequently getting smaller and smaller and smaller across a floor which is $6,000, $5,800, whatever point you actually want to put on that. And as this momentum wanes, as we bounce less and less and less, we're probably not going to roll over in perpetuity at 6,000. What happens in markets is if things fail to go higher, they will naturally go lower. And as things fail to go lower, they will naturally go higher. So you're going to have people that are arguing, well, this is a failure to go lower. I would argue that we're touching the lows more frequently and more numerous times than we are testing highs. Therefore, this trend line is more likely to break. That's the general consensus. I was getting a little scared up here that we may kind of rally higher, but since shorts have really kind of come down significantly, it takes a lot of that risk out of the market. And so what you're left with is a more natural Bitcoin market in which we don't see a change in that behavior. We still see the bouncing of lower highs. That behavior has not changed. This is a lower high. As a matter of fact, if you go down to our 2-hour chart, which we look at all the time, what you will see is that this most recent high came up to the previous most recent high and failed almost exactly at that same level right there. This was the level right about there. We came right up to it, subsequently failed. Now, could someone's going to say, hey, Real Crypto, could this be a cup with handle? There's a possibility of that. There's a possibility of that. I will give you that. But if that is the case, then your buy point is up here at basically 71.50. So I don't think you buy down here. I think you buy on the breakout at 71.50, and then that would give us a break of a prior level. At the same point in time, this isn't a very well defined level. This was 2 touches over the course of 3 days in a 5-day base, and it's just a continuation versus over here we've seen much larger bases, some a week or two, and continuations. This is a pretty bad failure at a fairly weak support level or resistance level. And so right now what I'm looking for is to see what the volume does over the next day or two, see if we flatten out down here, maybe kind of curl higher and form a bull flag or something up here. If that doesn't happen, then this round over action probably will take us lower, very similar to what we did here, very similar to what we did up here at 10,000. Now, this line I have drawn here at basically that says 73.20. That's actually wrong. It's like 72.50 or something like that. 72.45, I think is what it was. This particular trend line, let me go back to the daily for this. I've been talking about this trend line for a while. If you remember, each of these highs came down 15% from the prior high, if you remember that. That's about 15%. This one's about 15%. This one here about 15%, okay? But now we came up and almost touched that trend line. Didn't quite get there, but we came really, really close. And so if this is indeed the next high, this is just the next series of lower highs in Bitcoin's chart, in which case it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before we definitively break 6,000. The antithesis to that strategy would be that we get a large amount of buying coming through here. And again, I don't think you guess that is going to happen. I think you have to see that happen in order for you to get into that. And that's not going to happen until somewhere in this blank space, if that even occurs. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about Bitcoin right now, is that we came up, we tested what would be a potential resistance point, so far have failed. Yes, we can come back and retest it and go higher again, absolutely, but that's not what's in the cards right now. And if you take a look at the altcoins, what was looking like a very good bottom here failed to rally here recently over the past several days, subsequently rolling over, coming into basing areas, which is not healthy price action. If this were bullish, you would essentially see lots of support down here. Now, we haven't broken any major levels. As a matter of fact, we haven't even broken this line in Ethereum as of yet. But the action is looking weaker, and we could do that in the near future. We formed a high here, putting in this trend line, and this trend line having 2 touches here, potentially a third one coming up here. So we'll see if this rallies back higher. Nothing's really broken yet, but things are looking, you're starting to see cracks in the altcoin market. So these are the top 20 USD coins, and you can see down 3, 4, 7, 5%, 6%, 6%, 4%, 5%. You're starting to see cracks in the armor all over the place. Ontology down 7%. All the coins that were running subsequently failing. Nano, as a matter of fact, one of the leading coins in this recent market, has a head and shoulders pattern, which it broke down from yesterday that we've been tracking. It has a target down here of looks like 28.11, which is actually deep into this base. So if that happens, then maybe we're due for some sideways action in many coins going on for many weeks. So you're gonna want to keep an eye out for a lot of these coins. Not too many are acting healthy. Like I said, just finished the power hour. We only have about 4 coins in the very good list. We removed about 10 coins from the semi good list, and I think we added a few coins down into our purgatory list. So market right here looking weaker, but some coins have strength, some coins don't. It's kind of a weird dichotomy. So you can look for those. You can look for strength in those coins, but overall, Cardano is rolling over pretty hard here, 7% on heavy volume, still above its breakout point down here, but not looking super healthy so far. Also above its 200 period moving average. So it's really a judgment call scenario if you want to hold on to coins or not. Right now, I'm definitely leaning more bearish as we don't get the volume coming back into Bitcoin. You can see the selling increasing and the buying not increasing. This may lead to more rollover action, which would be pretty bad for Bitcoin. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you right there. So be cautious in this market. If you don't quite know how to handle this, I would recommend a cash position. I would recommend not trading this market. We've come up towards a potential resistance point. That resistance has held, and until we break that resistance, the market is going to look bearish. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me today. Again, as always, if you do like my analysis, please feel free to join me in the Real Crypto Power Hour. The link is down below in the description. You can go to my website, real-crypto.com, hit the services page, and sign up right there in the Power Hour. If you're interested but don't want to pay with dollars and want to pay in Bitcoin, hit me up, and my contact info is at the bottom of the website right there. So thanks for joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you next time.